Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News with a Bachelorette Men Tell All recap to get to. We've got all your favorites on the hot seat. We've got some contestants now being confirmed for Bachelor in Paradise. It was a relatively lighthearted, good episode. Had a couple memorable moments, I thought, but it didn't have, for me at least, any of that wild tea. Like, we can't wait to hear from so-and-so. It didn't have that for me, but I didn't expect that. That's not the tone of the season. All right, so let's get into it. We love Jesse Palmer, right? I have to remind people how much the internet was like, why Jesse Palmer? He's such like a milk toast, right? They said, he's just some basic white guy. That's what they said. I'm like, okay, if Jesse Palmer is a basic white guy, then I'm, chopped liver, okay? Because Jesse Palmer is like the pride of Canada, right? And he says, will this be the end of Devin and Jen? You're going to find out next week. And then everyone goes, oh, and he goes, psych, we're doing it now. And it was like, ah! I mean, I'm sorry. I rewatched that 3 times. I made my wife get in there for it. You don't understand the comedic timing there for him to say that with a straight face and then just hold as the audience groaned. Don't give it up. Build that tension and then drop the hammer. Let's do it now. Ah! You just couldn't. You couldn't with Chris Harrison. I'm sorry. I know you loved him. I know everyone's mom out there. Wait, we stopped watching after Chris Harrison. You better get on board. Because nobody's better at this than Jesse Palmer. It's his job to lose. So anyhow, let's keep the party going. Jesse, we are just happy to have you. Back to the tape of Devin approaching Jen. So, we got, let's go to, I got some photos here. We go to the dudes here, all the people you can't wait to see here, right? The other Herb and Sam M. The who's who of people you forget about once the season's over. But we'll get into them in a second here. But yeah, we have Devin. It starts on the cliffhanger where he's like, maybe this is going to be the end of it. Very like anxious, avoidant sort of energy happening here, which by the way, we're going to talk to Kat Izzo about her anxious attachment issues. I think a lot of people have them. I know I do. I think social media really pulls out a lot of anxious attachment issues in all of us. So we'll have that interview coming very soon. She, of course, felt that from her season on Bachelor in Paradise. But Devin's feeling it now. So Devin approaches Jen. It never goes well when this happens mid-season. When you're like on your top 10 and someone's like, I just feel like I need more time, you're getting sent home. But when it's the top 3, usually your wishes are met with some optimism, and it's a good thing. The scene feels more real because the cameras weren't waiting inside Jen's room. Jen is spooked at how serious Devin is. You never want someone to be like, hey, I have to have a serious conversation with you. It's like, am I fired? Are you firing me right now? That's kind of what's running through your head. He says he feels wanted but not needed. And like, look, to be fair, a relationship shouldn't be something you need. It should be something you want, A relationship should be the dessert, not the main course, but I understand his point. Jen responds by saying, Devin, I do love you, you idiot. And then he says, I love you as he leaves. And she says, I love you more. And then the crowd goes crazy. They said, I love you. I'm yelling at my baby. August, they said they love you. It's whatever. It's a, big momentous moment. But here we go. Oh boy. We have what we call in the industry a kerfuffle, because we've got her now saying to multiple people, I love you. Now, I don't think she said she's in love with Devin, but I think we can assume when she says, I love you more, she means I'm in love with you, not like, brotherly love. So anyway, they go to the rose ceremony. At this point, we know exactly what's going to happen. You know what I mean? She says, I love you, you freaking idiot. And of course, that was a fun moment. Look at the guys in the back. They're like, oh, shoot, she did it. She said it. I mean, I'm sorry, that kind of buries the lead to me. I mean, isn't that the end of the story at this point? So, of course, we lose Jonathan. And then they say, hang in there. I'll see you on the outside, okay? Which is the most Truman Show sort of response at how, whenever you want to think they're in real life. But he really said it with his own mouth. It's like, yeah, dummy. They're also in a cult, okay? Like, I can't believe I'm still having this conversation when it comes to, we'll get to it in a minute, the responses and what people actually said. Yes, they are in cult-like scenarios, maxed out on their lack of sleep, lack of good nutrition, lack of outside family, lack of, social media, all the things that make you a real human, they take away. And then we're supposed to go, but you really said that. It's like, I'm sorry, I reject literally anything anyone says on the show as like, I just think where there should be a safe bubble around it. And you say, you know what? Maybe Victoria Larson's not that bad of a person. Okay. Maybe Shanae's not that bad of a person. Maybe, and people, how dare you, Dave, not think Greg Rippo's a bad person? Oh, well, I don't know why, because I'm not an idiot. And I just see that they're all struggling to get by. We'll get back to that in a second. I'm digressing a lot today. So then they have the rose ceremony, right? We see the audience is stunned that she doesn't choose Jonathan. I'm not, But, Marcus, he's a little bit of a fixer-upper, and ladies like a good DIY project. Jonathan blames himself for how slow he pursued her. Jonathan tells Jen he took too long to realize how incredible she was. She sits there stoically. He says he thinks Jen was perfect for him, and he wasn't perfect for her. The sound of the car engine turns on, which is like, time to go, Johnny boy. Jesse mentions how much Bachelor Nation... Okay, so we'll get into that other story in a second. But look, I mean, what can you do? Like, there he is, you know what I mean? And then when Jen comes out, he kind of has an awkward moment with her. We'll get to that in a second. But then we have the man of the hour, all right? Bachelor Nation's teddy bear. What's his name again? Austin? Is that... No, that's not. Jeremy? What do you want to call this guy? I'm looking at my notes here. Brett, that's it. I got it, folks. I got it. I do this professionally. Brett gets a rose, or did not get a rose on night one. Crushed his segment, reading funny messages he received. A true star. Brett, mark my word, will be back on Paradise. If he's not, I will send a hurricane to destroy the palapas just on the beach. A very niche specific hurricane will be sent just to the beach to wreak havoc on them. Look, this guy's excellent. He's a bigger guy. He's a man of size, right? We love a good man of size. Teddy bear, hilarious. Knocks it out of the park. Big fan of... what's his name again? Brett. It's been a while, Brett. My bad. Okay, so they do the montage of all the men fighting. We do this whole thing, right? And we get down to the nitty gritty of it all. Aaron Erb says Spencer wasn't ready to be there. All the guys stick up for Spencer. Erb says he didn't look healed on his date. Spencer goes, sorry, it's uncomfortable to talk about being cheated on. Noah Erb is in the audience and also disses his brother. Look, it's obviously all scripted. The book wasn't even real. Why are they even pretending that this is real? Why? I don't understand why Aaron Erb is still playing along. I mean, when you talk about an industry plant, normally you're like, oh, come on, really? It's like, this dude has no purpose there. He was kind of like a middle relief left-handed pitcher that you keep on the roster in case you need him for emergencies. You know what I mean? Like, he was just there to ruffle some feathers and get out. That was it. Done. Period. End of story. It wasn't a real book. He obviously... he might not have known that his brother was on the receiving end of the book, but it's like, come on, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. What are we doing here? All right. Then the bros make a Regina George reference. Always like when we get a Lilo brought into the beef. Lindsay. They discuss keeping the main thing. Sam N clearly will be the villain of the night, or Sam N, whatever. That's Sam. That's Sam right there. That's the villain of the night. Okay. We understand. We know the roles. Who's playing who. Of course, all right, got the Noah part there. So we keep the main thing. Sam is on the hot seat. We see a montage of his time on Jen's season. There he is, old Sammy boy. He looks like an AI version of every guy you've ever seen surfing. I don't know. He just looks like a combination of like if there was like an Old Spice douche smell, it would be him. But hey, we like him. Do we? I don't know. Whatever. I'm indifferent to him because I think the whole show is really not always a representation of how people really are. Sorry for believing that we're better than the smut we watch on TV. Sorry for that. So the guys criticize Sam for saying, I love you, as if it was a Hail Mary pass because he couldn't explain himself. I'm torn because I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. I think on the show, it's very hard to know if you like somebody a lot or if you're just competing. And you might go, well, why would you be competing just to win? Well, on the show, it's hard to know if you're just trying to win because it's all like hierarchical and you want to win because that proves you're lovable. And who doesn't want to be loved? We've all had this where you get dumped in a relationship and you're like, I don't even want to be with you. I just wanted to date you long enough to know why I didn't like you first. But so no one likes to be rude. You can't fire me, I quit type of deal. That type of stuff. So the guy's, so he responds well. What do you want from him? He responded so good to the guys criticizing him that the worst thing you could say about him was he sounded like he was coached for this moment. You know what I mean? It's like, well, what are we going to do? look into his taxes, get Brian Abasolo's financial investigator to find out if he hired, can we audit Sam to find out if he had PR for this? I bet you he also used an iron. That jacket's not actually a wrinkle-free jacket. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? So Sam gets called out for thinking it was going to be Maria or Daisy there, and Sam's response was like, dude, we all thought it was going to be Maria or Daisy. Of course, Sam idiotically mentions that to Jen, saying, I thought it was going to be one of these other two, but turns out you ain't bad yourself, kid. He's just like, oh my gosh, terrible. So one of the guys calls him out and says, dude, you just can't say that out loud. And he's like, no, I apologize. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? So he's an idiot for what he said, but I don't think I'm going to hold him accountable in a way that some people are. Because I'm like, look, who cares? If you meet this guy at a bar and he's spitting you, dude, it is what it is. We got to make the main thing the main thing. If that's what you want to take home, that's on both of you guys, And Jen's getting heavily criticized. She's getting heavily criticized for keeping these types of guys around. This dude's giving her lap dances on the radio date. Dude, my love language is physical touch. Bro, so's everybody else's. You got to pick a secondary love language. You got to hide the fact that you like to be touched. Who doesn't want to be touched? You got to be like, no, my love language is affirmations. I love a good affirmations, and then touch me. You know what I mean? So anyway, I just love that. My love language is, I want to make a merch shirt. My love language is physical touch. My love language is when people join the Patreon, patreon.com/Dave Neal. If you can't do that, Rush Hour Podcast. The very least, use physical touch and touch that like button an odd number of times. That's my love language. All right. We're not for everybody, I guess. Sam does respond to everyone's criticism from a place of humility. He says he will apply what he's learned and bring that to his next relationship. So then Sam gets a big ovation. Hold that thought. He gets a big ovation. Then we do Jonathan's montage. We go to Johnny. Oh, Johnny boy. Jesse invites Jonathan and the beaches of paradise. He accepts. Oh, how about that? So I like this, that Jesse starts doling out invitations to paradise. He probably uses that as leverages at home. He's like, hey, the contractor is charging me $12,000 to paint my home, but if you do it for $9,000, I'll see if I can get you on the beach. Son of a beach. They promote the new Mormon Wives show and then have a close-up on Kareem reacting wild. Genius. Absolutely genius to get Kareem. I don't know if is it Kareem or Hakeem? Oh my gosh, I don't know his name now. Someone in the comment section, please help me out. I'm having a real moment here. My dyslexia might be kicking in. I'm not kidding. Let me know in the comment section. Do I have the right name? I'm watching too many TV shows. Anyhow, the eye contact that the cameraman made with that close-up was amazing. I thought that was amazing because I don't know if it was planned, but the fact that they showed the whole trailer for the Mormon Wives show, right? And then they just held on his shot being like, he should be getting paid extra, is my opinion. I think he should be getting paid extra. All right. What do we got here? What's next? They bring out the next Bachelor, Grant. Where's Grant? Oh, we have this moment. Do we miss this? Maybe I don't have a photo of Grant. I don't have a photo of Grant. All right. You know who he is. Hakeem. Did I say Hakeem? I think I said Hakeem, right? Anyhow, apologies if I got that wrong. Trying my best. I take notes here, but the font is small. Okay, that's my tagline. I'm Dave Neal, and the font is small. So, oh boy, here Jen arrives to wild applause. Oh, let's go back to Grant. Jesse tells Grant that since he was announced, there have been 10,000 new women who submitted. Look, I seriously hope they cast an amazing group for him. A binder full of women, if you will. 10,000. And people go, well, dude, why did they ruin the surprise? They didn't give him a big announcement. It's like, this is why. So now they can sift through 10,000 people. Because if you don't know who the Bachelor is, maybe you'll submit, maybe you won't. But I've always said this, the show needs to do a better job of casting. The good people that would be great on the show, like take my wife, right? If she was single, take my wife, please. No, I'm kidding. If she was single, she would never submit to be on The Bachelor. You know why? Because she's got class. No, I'm kidding. And she's got things to do. No. And in a purpose in life. No. But she would have been fantastic. She's beautiful. She doesn't like controversy or anything like that. But the point I'm making is sometimes the people that want to be on the show are not the people you should choose. Same goes when I'm on stage doing stand-up. The people that want to interact with me are not the people you want to talk to. If I want to do crowd work, it's not with the person who wants to rah, 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 and it's the same way on the show. So yes, take those 10,000 people, work hard, go to malls, go to random brunches. I don't know where you find these single gals. I feel like you go to brunches in West Hollywood and you can go pick your pick of the litter. Anyhow, good on Grant. Looking forward to it. We'll see how that goes. All right, Jen arrives to wild applause. Jonathan tells her the green dress is her number one dress, and she has to sort of skirt his compliment since she's most likely happily engaged to another guy, most likely. So we get the diplomatic version of Jen, Jonathan is like, yeah, that dress is great. And in the past, she'd be like, dude, thanks. And now she's like, thank you very much. And then she goes, I'm happy to have crossed paths with you. It's like, whoa, that's not the Jen you were dating. That's the Jen who's taken. Jen says her and Sam are on different emotional levels, which again, might be true, but kind of rough to say. It's one thing to be like, yo, this person was an a-hole, but to be like, we're on different emotional levels. Are you saying you're emotionally smarter than him? I don't necessarily disagree. I'm just like, yikes. So then she tears into Sam. I think it works out okay because she's got an audience on her side, but sometimes you're not playing to the audience in the room, you're playing to the audience at home. And I'd love to ask the Patreon what you thought of Jen's interactions with Sam. By all means, I already asked some, and some on the Patreon said, he deserved it, he was a womanizer, he had this, he had that going on. And I go, well, just because someone deserves it, right? An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. But is it becoming, and does it look good to like sort of go that way on somebody? Looking back, Katie Thurston, we mentioned with Greg Grippo, right? You gaslighted me, you did this and that. He's like, I'm sorry. And he was very humble, kind of same energy as Sam. And I would argue that Greg Grippo was actually a lot better of a candidate than Sam. Sam's obviously, comes off like, slimy, to say the least. Used car salesman energy, for sure. He looks like he's trying to sell me a course on how to get abs in 3 days, right? That's what he looks like. So anyhow, I said Kareem earlier, Denise, and I meant Hakeem. Please, I'm seeing the comments now. Oh my gosh, please. My apologies. So anyhow, yeah, I think it was a bit much, but what am I going to do? I'm not going to cancel anybody. I think it was just a bit much. That's all. She says she wants him to be better from this. She tears into him, and she says, she calls out his family for defending him after it's a bad edit. So all of the things she comes out with are, pre-written thoughts she had. I'm not saying she memorized her thoughts, but she's been ruminating about this. This has been on her mind for weeks, if not a month or two, really. She's been like, all right, when I get to see him, I'm going to say this. She kind of says, oh, you let your family do your dirty work. First of all, Sam contractually can't defend himself. So if he feels like he got a bad edit, the only people that can defend him are his friends and family. I absolutely would not blame his family for sticking up for him, even if he's in the wrong. That's what you want family to do. That's what you want family to do. And by the way, that was, I think, specifically had to do with the trailer for that Needle date where they jumped out the window, which, by the way, did look highly edited because it looked very producer driven that he was trying to get her to jump out of. Look, I'm sorry, Sam didn't set up the parachute date or whatever, the rappelling down. You know what I mean? How dumb are we? Sam didn't set up the date. He's following along with the producers. And then she's like, gives us the, acting 101 line read. I feel like he's not listening to me. Huh? And then by the end, she goes and rappels down with them and they have a happy moment. It's called building tension. It's fake. None of that was real. Am I ruining it for everybody here? None of that's real. So when his family goes, oh, dude, this isn't even real, because that's what we do, right? As a society, we watch the trailer before we watch the long version, and we get mad at what happened in the trailer. Oh my gosh. And again, I'm not saying there aren't other issues with Sam. I am not defending Sam. I'm just saying we're not even having the same conversation, it seems, because for all the things you want to pin on Sam, he ain't wrong. Whenever someone blames the edit, you go, oh, now you're going to blame the edit? They're not wrong. Even the worst of the worst are edited in a certain way. And then afterwards we go, well, yeah, well, turns out Shanae was actually not bad on Bachelor in Paradise. Turns out Victoria Larson's actually okay. She's a realtor and, whatever the hell. So anyway, I don't know if she got to watch the show play out from backstage, but Sam already took all the bullets, right? He said, I'm sorry, blah, blah, blah. So she rips into him. Jen hasn't really ever been the villain, deserved or undeserved, and I don't think she quite knows what that heat feels like. I can't blame his family whatsoever. He signed a contract where he can't defend himself. She says she will feel sorry for whomever he ends up with. And, it's a very Maury Povich level commentary, in my opinion. I was thinking about this. Have we ever had a male lead treat a female contestant that way? I'm not sure. I was reminded of Jake Pavelka kind of yapping with Vienna and yelled at her. It's very icky, but kind of rare. And I understand the power dynamics here, and she got to, hear about maybe he had planned, he wasn't there for all the right reasons, but it's like, Jen, I'm sorry. The show casts guys to be the villain. That's how it works. And she's allowed to react in her way. He doesn't react with emotion. He says, thank you. She says all that and he goes, thank you. Thank you for your feedback. She says, I hope you mean that and aren't just saying that. So she's not even I hope you mean it. Okay. Yeah, he said it. We're not going to audit whether or not, can we get into his brain? Are there any psychics that can get into his brain? Did he mean that? Did he mean what he said? So anyway, those are my thoughts. She got a big applause, but I don't think it came off great. That's all. That's all, folks. She got whenever the ladies start snapping, you're in trouble, man. If you, if you're out there getting reamed up by your lady and some girl walks by just doing this, you are in. White women love a good snap. God bless them. They look great. Nice tattoo. So those are my thoughts on that. And then of course, just the moment, right? We have our secondary guest on Bachelor in Paradise. Look at Abigail in the background here. Can you see this? Abigail in the background. It's like, oh my word, that thing better not come near me. Nobody wants to be near this spider, especially Hakeem right here. Wait, did I say, I said Kareem. Okay, it's Hakeem. Come on. He's like, that was great. My hope was that Jesse was going to say, if you hold on to the spider, we'll give you a spot on Paradise, but they give it to him anyway. So good for him. Good episode altogether. Again, my thoughts on Jen are, not bad. I just, every lead is going to have times when they don't necessarily do the right thing. I don't blame them. They're trying their best. Jen's trying their best. She's had a good season, but there are criticisms. I like to read a comment here and there, and there are criticisms that she's kind of like not flushing out the wrong guys, the good guys, the Jeremys, the Spencers, the Hakeems. There's good guys out there, but there's also guys that she's kept around, maybe that have overstayed their welcome. But hey, that's the show. Don't get mad at me for my thoughts. Just my opinions here. If you want to take it up, you can write to my fan page here if you have any negative comments. That's at realitysteve.com. I'm kidding. We love Steve. Okay, folks, that's it for me. I'll be back with more content. I got a Caitlin Bristow story coming after this. If that wasn't enough controversy for you, we'll see you then. And then the Rush Hour podcast this afternoon. Bye.